Bro, you did what? Oh my God. Don't ever talk to me again. I don't want to ever hear you. I don't want to see you. I don't even want to know you exist. You're dead to me! What? What? You think that because I am currently under the vestige of emotions, I cannot properly think logically? I can't let my emotions override my logic because that would be a dangerous thing to do, and yet I'm doing that? Are you saying that that might potentially spawn regret, of which I could regret for a very long time?
Yeah. Forever is a mighty long time, so...
I mean, fool me once, right? Fool me once! Fool me twice! Fool me thrice!
Let's just chill out, get some tea, relax. We can just listen to some Big K.R.I.T. That's what I was listening to right now. Let's just do that.
Okay.
Alright? We got an excellent one out in our lives.
Big K.R.I.T dropped EP called Thrice X, which is his most recent sonic foray. The last time that he really jumped into the atmosphere, he was dropping 22-song album, Forever is a Mighty Long Time, and it would take me a long time to really do an album odyssey on that one. However, he is back, and when I got into Big K.R.I.T, it was mostly off of the song on the 2K soundtrack. When he had one, it was I Make It Cool to Be Southern, and I got really attached to that song, hung on to that one for dear life as it became one of my favorite earworms, and I always was listening to it. So I've always thought like Big K.R.I.T is a pretty cool rapper. He has the confidence, the swagger, the smoothness. On this EP, we get 3 songs, of which are called Higher, King Part 6, Glorious, and Look at What I Got. Now, Higher, King Part 6 is a meditation on his life, particularly thinking of his father and how his father kind of represented the tough guy masculinity side of things. And he even questions that masculinity's propensity to avoid emotions or suppress them. He talks about how not crying could potentially have increased his father's blood pressure, but that even though his father was kind of in this tough guy shell, he didn't let that prevent him from giving his son insight into life and giving him jewels, as Big K.R.I.T describes it, to succeed in life. Big K.R.I.T finds himself ruminating on that, thinking of his mother as well, and thinking of all these different situations of which seem at the surface to be an improvement on what he used to have, but he also feels as though that's not necessarily the case. Like, these things are temporary, these things are not going to benefit him in the long run, and he uses God and religion in order to find that peace, find that contentment and that fulfillment of what he desires, which I feel like is not necessarily short-term success, but long-term spiritual success, which would mean being at peace with himself and being at peace with the other things around him, not necessarily trusting every single golden token that falls his way. And I think that's pretty cool, to find that peace in something else beyond just money or other temporary desires that can be gone within an instant. With Higher, King Part 6, you really find that Big K.R.I.T is pretty much still on those same values that he did display in the songs that I heard on Forever is a Mighty Long Time. Not that he's not fighting off the same demons I'm sure he was dealing with, but he seems to have he's gotten into a better place. Now, for the other 2 songs on here, Glorious and Look What I Got, they kind of can become basically interchangeable. The trap sound is pretty prominent here, but it's so prominent in its basicness that it doesn't do anything to really stand out. The only part that stands out is on Look What I Got, and it's the intro segment. There wasn't any lyrics or anything that I said like had any substance, but it was just the sonic sound of it, where it basically had this really spacey vibe, And it seemed like it was going to go in a different direction from Glorious, but instead it kind of just turned into this, look what I got, look what I got, look what I got, look what I got. And I get that you're bragging about the money you have and you're kind of doing it to just brag about it, but it doesn't really do anything for me as far as Glorious goes. It has the same exact issues. So we have one song that's kind of not necessarily chock full of it, but has some emotional depth to it, and then we get 2 trap songs right after that don't really do much to stand out from each other. You can literally swap the names on here and I wouldn't even blink. I would just be like, this one doesn't really say look what I got, and the other one does. However, despite this, I still think that Higher King Part 6 is a pretty cool thing, and maybe if he just released that by itself, I would have enjoyed that. Like, I like what he was going into there. Even if I wasn't a huge fan of the sound behind it, I still liked what he was doing there. Lyrically, there was like actual things going on, but on Glorious and Look What I Got, there wasn't really much to talk about or really write home about. Thrice X. I guess you can X out 2 songs in here and you can enjoy Higher King Part 6, but if you like the Glorious and the Look at What I Got, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. Overall, I think CP was okay. Big K.R.I.T! He's Xing you out. Maybe he'll drop an album. I don't know. People have been dropping surprise albums. Well, this guy says you can never get lost once or twice or even thrice. You can get lost for the rest of your life. But the things you find along the way, I think, will really contribute to how you survive and how you thrive. So don't get X'd out. Keep on going.